So guys, it is official that Casemiro is going to leave Manchester United, and he has been bided a wonderful farewell at Old Trafford on Sunday afternoon, and we cannot dispute the fact that Casemiro has been a very crucial player for Manchester United. Over the past 4 years he has been at Manchester United, he has been one of our most crucial players, and no one can dispute that. And also this season he has also been tremendous in every phase for Manchester United. And to think that the 4 games he didn't play for Manchester United this season, we didn't win any, we drew 1 and we lost all 3. That tells you that Casemiro has been absolutely very wonderful for Manchester United. But today we want to talk about how we can replace Casemiro. But before we talk about how we can replace Casemiro in this summer transfer window, we definitely have to talk about what he has done for Manchester United, the attributes that he shows that we need to look out for in the market and that we also need to replace. And also we need to talk about where we need to get these players, because for another thing is to try to replace player. Another thing is to also know the league where you have to go and recruit him, if you're getting a Premier League proven player or you're getting a player outside of the Premier League. So basically, talking about what Casemiro has done for Manchester United this season, we need to, of course, you need to talk about the midfielders generally. Of course, when you talk about midfielders generally, you have to know that midfielders try to, of course, they are good in both of the boxes, both in defense and both in attacks. But mainly when you're talking about midfielders, you also need to talk about how they hold possession, how they control the game, how they influence the game with or without the ball. And Casemiro has been very brilliant for Manchester United, especially in the defensive phase this season. Casemiro has been really, really good. If you look at his stats, you're going to find out that he's had the most clearance from the defensive phase this season. That tells you that in terms of defending the box, in terms of trying to win tackles, interception, to be very crucial for Manchester United when it comes to defending the box in crucial stages of the game, especially set pieces, Casemiro has been spot on. And also looking at the final third, you're also going to find out that Casemiro has scored 9 goals for Manchester United this season, all 8 coming from 8 of the 9 goals are headed goals coming from set pieces. That tells you that he's also a set piece specialist. He's very good in scoring headers, he's very good in scoring set pieces, and these are also very important attributes right now in the Premier League, where all teams try to utilize set pieces. So having a player that is also very good in set pieces is also very wonderful. So in terms of the defensive phase and also in the attacking phase, Casemiro is a complete player. But also talking about his press resistant nature, his control in the middle of the park, of course you're going to find out that Casemiro is really not that kind of player to be press resistant. He's not the best press resistant player. He's not the best player to try to control the ball, try to detect the play, try to make sure that the team plays to his reading. He's definitely not that kind of player. He's a player that likes to spend less time on the ball, probably because of the time he spent at Real Madrid. So he's a player that likes to spend less time on the ball, try to play those line breaking passes or those passes in between spaces for fast transition football. So that's definitely the kind of midfielder that Casemiro needs. And you all know that going into the market, we definitely need to get a player that is going to be an upgrade for Casemiro in terms of the control in the center of the pitch. So now let's actually talk about the players that we need to replace Casemiro. Of course, if you've been watching Tactical Trafford, you're going to realize that I am a big fan of Bruno Guimarães because I see Casemiro in him. This is the perfect player. He's the premium target to replace Casemiro this season because he's a very similar player to Casemiro in terms of winning of duels, both in the defensive third and also in the attacking third. He's a very wonderful player, and having a player like Bruno Guimarães can enable you to press for man to man, because of course I know that Carrick this season he didn't press a lot because he didn't have the quality of players to press. Coming next season, Manchester United of course is going to go into a lot of pressing, and of course you're going to need players like Bruno Guimarães. He's going to be very good in pressing and trying to winning duels both in the final third and also in the defensive third. And also in terms of scoring of goals, Bruno Guimarães is a player that can score goals. Of course, he's a player that can give you at least 10 goals and assists as a deep line playmaker in the Premier League. So of course Bruno Guimarães, in terms of goal scoring, that is checked. In terms of winning duels effectively over large portions of the game, in terms of scoring with set pieces from headers, Bruno Guimarães is absolutely there. But the issue with Bruno Guimarães definitely lies with his age, because Bruno Guimarães is going to be 29 by September. So of course Manchester United need a lot of young players right now, because over the past years we have developed this habit of signing players that is passing their prime, players that are getting close to 30 years old. But I know that we need to get players that are more in the middle of their 25s and 26. So this is the kind of players you are looking for in terms of the age range, and also in terms of the price tag. Newcastle will definitely not let Bruno Guimarães leave for something less than 70 to 80 mil. And spending 70 to 80 million for a player that is 29 years old is definitely a strategy that Manchester United will not be looking to deploy. So our second option we are going to be talking about today is definitely Sandro Tonali, because Sandro Tonali is a modern midfielder. He's a modern engine. He's a player that can cover every blade of grass, and he has done that for both Italy and Newcastle this season. He has been absolutely brilliant in terms of winning of duels, and this is what we need. You need a midfielder that can be able to cover large spaces, that can cover wide spaces, that can cover pocket spaces, and we have not had this kind of midfielders for a very long time. And so we need Sandro Tonali, because of course he's going to cover every blade of grass. In terms of scoring goals, he's absolutely very good. He's not like a Bruno Guimarães or Casemiro in terms of goal scoring, but he's a player. He can be a number 6, he can be a number 8, he can be a box-to-box midfielder. He's a midfielder that can go forward, provide offensive assurance, and also defend the box properly. So of course, in terms of having a player with different characteristics, he's a player that can be able to drop into a 3-man back and try to help him build up, because of course Michael Carrick likes to play with a 3-3-4 shape. So of course, having a midfielder like Sandro Tonali that can be able to drop into a 3-man back to help him building up is also going to be very crucial for Manchester United in terms of detecting the play, in terms of line breaking passes, in terms of long passes during transitions, and also passes that can lead to goal. Sandro Tonali checks all the box. But in terms of buying any player at all from Newcastle, you already know that the problem is not going to be the player, it's not going to be on the personal terms, but it is most definitely going to be on the price tag. So the last option we are going to be talking about today is Aurélien Tchouaméni, because reports have been coming out that he's one of the targets of Manchester United, but it mainly depends on if Real Madrid wants to sell him or not, because of course Real Madrid is going to be going through some series of rebound this season. So it depends on if they want to sell Aurélien Tchouaméni, and if they want to sell him, of course then Manchester United should be looking at him, because in terms of winning deals, I know that he's not the best in winning deals, but he can do that effectively over segments of the game. And I don't think Aurélien Tchouaméni is a good or a nice partner to Kobbie Mainoo, because of course if we want to be getting somebody to replace Casemiro, we should be looking at somebody who is going to be a great partner to Kobbie Mainoo, who is really going to complement Kobbie Mainoo. I think Aurélien Tchouaméni and Kobbie Mainoo are really similar players, but I think where Aurélien Tchouaméni beats Kobbie Mainoo is in terms of long passes, line breaking passes, taking more risks, and because Aurélien Tchouaméni have had to play out of possession many in the last 2 seasons, so of course he's not been able to really become a specialist like he would in the midfield. But in terms of also dropping deep, trying to play those balls from behind, in terms of dictating the play from behind, in terms of defending his box, in terms of also scoring with headers, he's definitely a player that Manchester United should be looking at. So guys, I want you guys to give me your thoughts on the comment section on which midfielder you want Manchester United to buy this summer. I want you guys to like, to share, to subscribe to Tactical Trafford. See you guys in my next video.